is out against the Lynx, and it is a pity because Paige has been very good. She's been very good this season. Again, the WNBA's brightest hope, Paige Bueckers, faces a terrifying truth. Her career isn't being threatened by opponents, but by her own teammate, Djonai Carrington. This is a shocking saga of reckless violence on the court, a league that refuses to act, and an organization that knowingly enabled this dangerous reign of terror. This isn't just basketball, it's a chilling story of unchecked aggression and systemic betrayal.
I don't believe Djonai Carrington is going to make it throughout the season, man. Fans is demanding for her to be banned from the league because she did 2 dirty plays in her matchup yesterday against the Seattle Storm. Yes, 2 dirty plays plus a flagrant foul. This is starting to become a habit for Djonai Carrington, and as of right now, it's looking real spooky for her.
Paige Bueckers arrived in the WNBA like a meteor. The #1 overall draft pick, she carried the hopes of a franchise and the kind of talent that sells out arenas. Her rookie season was supposed to be a triumphant ascent, a showcase of her unmatched skill. She swiftly became the fastest player in over a decade to record 40 career assists, averaging an impressive 14.7 points and 6.7 assists per game, drawing comparisons to WNBA legends. But her promising start has been shadowed by a string of debilitating injuries, eerily coinciding with her proximity to Djonai Carrington's dangerous playstyle. Instead of dominating headlines with her prowess, Bueckers finds herself battling through recovery, her momentum repeatedly derailed.
Did it again. Like, it happens once a game right now. And how Djonai Carrington did not get called for a flagrant foul like on this, she has the greatest whistle of all time because, like, look, how many times does this need to happen before, like this is going viral even on free.
The concussion she suffered in late May kept her sidelined for 4 crucial games. While not directly caused by Carrington, the timing is unsettling when you consider the pattern of injuries that seem to follow this player wherever she goes. Bueckers had to enter concussion protocol after initially showing no symptoms during the game, only to report crippling headaches and other concerning signs the following day. She missed critical games against Seattle, Los Angeles, and Minnesota, matchups that could have been pivotal for a struggling Wings team.
To follow this player wherever she goes.
Hard to follow is right here. That's a hard follow, and she does get her in the face.
Then she come back and hit her in the face. My goodness, I told y'all, she's a professional UFC fighter.
When she's coming down with her hand.
I mean, this is just not a good look for Djonai Carrington. I'm telling you, she's on thin ice, bro.
Imagine being a young star, just hitting your stride, only to have your career paused, not by a natural course of play, but by the ever-present threat of your own teammates' reckless abandon. Instead of developing her professional game, she's spending time in concussion protocol, wondering if her next practice might result in another emergency room visit. This isn't just bad luck, it's part of a terrifying, unsettling pattern, and Bueckers' peril is merely a symptom of a far deeper, more dangerous problem that the WNBA seems determined to ignore.
Was listed as probable, downgraded to out. They don't always see that. Can you give us any update on how she's doing?
Just dealing with an illness and just being extremely cautious and supportive as an organization. So hope to have her back soon.
The evidence against Djonai Carrington isn't circumstantial, it's a documented history of violence disguised as basketball. While Bueckers battles through her recovery, her teammate continues to terrorize both opponents and teammates with a style of play that belongs in a martial arts dojo, not on a professional basketball court. In her most recent outburst, Carrington grabbed Los Angeles Sparks guard Sarah Ashley Barker by the hair and viciously yanked her to the ground in what can only be described as a blatant assault disguised as a common foul. The announcers were stunned, with one commenting that if Barker had been wearing extensions, they might have been ripped out entirely. This wasn't a basketball play, this was WWE level violence that somehow only resulted in a common foul. Many had tried to explain away Carrington's previous dangerous plays as being too excited or reckless attempts at blocks, but this incident defied all rationalization. It was pure, unadulterated aggression.
Up until this point, I think quite a few of Djonai's flagrants and dirty plays, or sorry, not dirty play, dangerous plays, could be explained off as her getting almost too excited, trying to get a block and just doing reckless things. Whereas this play, Cannot be explained off by that. This play cannot be explained off by that. And like, you've got the this is the commentator. This is the commentator.
Whoa! But wait, there's more. Earlier this season, Carrington delivered a reckless flagrant foul against Jessica Shepard that nearly took out Paige Bueckers in the process. With just over 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter, Carrington launched herself at Shepard during a fast break, delivering a forearm that could have ended careers. Officials upgraded it to a flagrant one, a mild slap on the wrist that did absolutely nothing to address the underlying problem. It was a clear warning sign, yet the league and the Wings organization remained willfully blind. These incidents, shocking as they are, pale in comparison to the event that solidified Carrington's infamous reputation and exposed the WNBA's deepest failures.
Dude, keep Djonai Carrington far away from my team, man. Keep Djonai Carrington far away from my team. There's a difference between playing hard and just playing reckless. Playing hard and playing dirty. Playing hard and playing like Djonai Carrington. There is a huge difference.
Her most infamous act of aggression, the deliberate eye poke on Caitlin Clark in 2024. This was no accident. Slow motion footage undeniably shows Carrington bending her hand and pointing her nails directly at Clark's face. The rookie sensation was left playing through a black eye for weeks, a visible testament to Carrington's malicious intent. Despite the damning evidence, despite the national outcry and the clear footage, no meaningful punishment followed. The league's silence was deafening, a shocking endorsement of dangerous play.
Dirtbag Djonai. She has been on a crime spree. That's right, folks. She has been on a crime spree, robbing the WNBA blind, masquerading as a professional basketball player, when in reality, she is just a reckless athlete that understands the concept of basketball. A reckless athlete that understands the concept of...
This inaction wasn't just disappointing, it was a devastating green light for Carrington to continue her pattern of dangerous behavior, signaling to every player in the league that talent, no matter how destructive, would be protected. The message was chillingly clear: play hard, play dirty, and if you're DJ Carrington, you'll get away with it. This was a pivotal moment where the WNBA could have asserted its commitment to player safety, but instead it faltered, setting a dangerous precedent. But the chaos Carrington brings isn't just on the court, it bleeds into the very fabric of the team, amplified by a toxic personal dynamic that further endangers her teammates.
Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, Adam Silver, the NBA's commissioner, they need to continue to have pressure put on them, the league as a whole, until they decide to do something. Like, look, when I see a $100,000 fine come out, and I understand what their salaries are, I don't care. Till I see something like that, till I see what really ought to be like a 10-game suspension or something like that, there should be something significant that is going to send a message saying that there is no longer going to be this tolerance for this kind of dirty play. And
as if Carrington's on-court terror wasn't enough, a corrosive personal dynamic festered within the Dallas Wings, threatening team cohesion and player safety in a deeply unprofessional way. Nalissa Smith, a Dallas Wings player and Carrington's girlfriend, has been labeled the worst player in the WNBA this season. Once considered a promising player after being drafted second overall in 2022, she's now statistically the worst performer in the league, marked by lackluster performances and an apparent disinterest in team success. The relationship between Smith and Carrington creates a toxic dynamic that puts players like Bueckers in an impossible position. Not only does she have to worry about Carrington's dangerous play during games and practices, but she also has to navigate a locker room where two players are more concerned with their personal relationship than team success or player safety.
You know, everybody's waiting now. All eyes on the commissioner. What's the punishment going to be? Is there going to be a punishment? Guys, if Caitlin Clark started dishing out fouls like this, Al Sharpton would be walking the streets. They would claim that Caitlin Clark literally had pitchforks and was wearing white sheets on the court if this was happening and Caitlin Clark was dishing out these kind of fouls. All right, and do we even want to call them fouls? I mean, look, they're worse than fouls.
Commissioner Engelbert needs to implement immediate discipline.
The peak of their audacity came on Instagram Live when the duo actually joked about Carrington's eye poke incident. Smith accidentally poked Carrington's eye, and the pair laughed about it, mocking the serious questions that followed the Clark incident. This kind of behavior isn't just unprofessional, it shows a complete lack of respect for the players Carrington has injured and a chilling disregard for the gravity of her actions. It reveals a mindset that sees player safety as a joke, further cementing the idea that the internal environment of the Dallas Wings is a hazardous zone for any dedicated athlete. This calculated betrayal of trust points directly to a much larger, more devastating failure at the highest levels of the league itself.
Said Paige Bueckers has been cleared. She officially will be available to play tomorrow after missing 4 games. She was out for concussion protocol and then she was sick. She had an illness. So she is back. She's good to go. But this does beg the question, what are they going to do with Ty Harris? Because that's a loss and they need help. They need help. And the power of friendship isn't going to fix this one.
While careers are jeopardized, the WNBA's commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, has remained shockingly silent, allowing DJ Carrington's crime spree to continue unchecked. Engelbert, who talks a big game about growing the league and attracting new fans, has done little to address a player who systematically endangers others. The league's response to Carrington's pattern of dangerous play has been essentially non-existent. No suspension for the Clark eye poke, no meaningful punishment for the Shepard incident, no action taken after the hair-pulling attack on Barker. It's as if the WNBA's disciplinary committee consists of a magic 8 ball that someone shakes whenever they need to make a decision about player conduct. This isn't just disappointing, it's incredibly dangerous. Every game that Carrington plays without facing meaningful discipline is another opportunity for her to seriously injure someone, potentially ending a career. The league is essentially telling every player that as long as you're talented enough, you can get away with conduct that would result in assault charges outside of an arena. This inaction creates a competitive imbalance that threatens the integrity of the sport itself. When one team has a player willing to cross lines that others won't, it forces opponents to make impossible choices, play their normal game and risk injury, match the physicality and potentially get hurt themselves, or spend valuable mental energy worrying about safety instead of focusing on basketball. The WNBA needs to impose significant penalties, a 10-game suspension, a massive fine, to send a clear, unequivocal message that this kind of dangerous, dirty play will no longer be tolerated. Commissioner Engelbert and even NBA Commissioner Adam Silver need to feel immense pressure until they act decisively. This systematic failure is not just an oversight, it's a profound abandonment of responsibility. Yet the league isn't the sole architect of this disaster. The Dallas Wings themselves enabled this nightmare from the start. The Dallas Wings organization deserves special condemnation for knowingly unleashing this destructive force. When they signed DJ Carrington, they knew exactly what kind of player they were getting. This wasn't a case of a player developing bad habits after joining the team. This was a deliberate decision to bring in someone with a documented history of dangerous play. What were they thinking? Did they believe Carrington's pattern of dangerous play would magically disappear once she changed uniforms? That her history of targeting high-profile players was just a phase she'd grow out of? The decision to sign her wasn't just questionable, it was downright irresponsible and potentially criminal in its negligence. Now they have Paige Bueckers, one of the most promising rookies to enter the WNBA in years, sharing a locker room with a player whose idea of basketball apparently involves activities more appropriate for a combat sport. Bueckers came into the league with the kind of pedigree that had fans dreaming of championship runs and record-breaking performances. Instead, she's discovered that her biggest threat might not be coming from opposing teams or even injuries sustained in the natural course of a competitive game. The Wings essentially told their roster that winning games is more important than player safety, and that philosophy is bound to backfire spectacularly. If Carrington injures a teammate or opponent, the organization will have to explain why they saw this coming and chose to enable it. This dangerous gamble has dire consequences, and the bill is coming due. The chilling saga of DJ Carrington, the WNBA's shocking inaction, and the Dallas Wings' complicity has painted a grim picture for the future of professional basketball. For Paige Bueckers, meant to transform a franchise, this toxic environment has forced her to confront an impossible choice. Instead of celebrating her impressive start, she's probably wondering if her next practice session might result in another concussion, another forced hiatus from a career she's worked her entire life for. The psychological impact of playing alongside someone with with Carrington's history cannot be understated. Every practice, every game situation, every close play becomes a potential threat to her health and long-term career. A reckoning is on the horizon. Commissioner Engelbert needs to implement immediate, drastic disciplinary action against Carrington, regardless of when or where her dangerous conduct occurred. A retroactive suspension might seem unusual, but extraordinary circumstances call for extraordinary measures. When a player's conduct threatens the safety of others and the integrity of the sport, the league has an obligation to act, even if they failed to do so initially. Carrington should face a minimum 10-game suspension for her pattern of dangerous play, with escalating penalties for any future incidents. Dangerous plays like eye pokes, hair pulling, and deliberate attempts to injure opponents should result in automatic suspensions. Most importantly, the league needs to send a clear message. Talent doesn't excuse dangerous behavior. For Paige Bueckers, the solution might be even more drastic. She should seriously consider requesting a trade to get away from this toxic environment. No rookie, especially one with her immense potential, should have to worry about being injured by her own teammate. The Wings created this problem by signing Carrington. They need to fix it by choosing between their franchise player and their liability. The WNBA stands at a critical crossroads. They can continue to ignore this problem, hoping it goes away, allowing more promising careers to be derailed by preventable injuries, or they can take meaningful action to protect their players and preserve the integrity of their sport. The choice they make now will define the league's future. Will they finally act to protect their players and the sport's integrity, or allow this reign of terror to dismantle promising careers and public trust? The future of the league and the safety of its stars hangs chillingly in the balance.